Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I'm George. We're all George. So today, the U.S. market is looking good, really good. And I will explain why. But it has been good for a couple days now. So why is Bitcoin still struggling? Why is Bitcoin not heading higher? There is one big explanation for it. So let me share what it is. But also, let's also talk about why you should be loading up on Bitcoin right now. Why so many others are loading up on Bitcoin right now. All right, let's do it. Welcome, guys. As you can see, Bitcoin still going sideways. 59,000 overall. You know, why hasn't Bitcoin moved? Well, I won't get to that. The U.S. market is looking like it's going to open. It did open, it just didn't refresh yet. Very in the green. Okay, so that's good, but not so good because now there's not a whole lot of reasons for Powell to give us a 50 basis point cut rather than 25 basis point cut. So you can see consumer spending actually went up a percentage, better than expected. And also, jobs claim for this week actually went lower than expected. So that's good. Estimated about 235,000. It came in at 227,000. Not a low number. It's still very high. But it's better than expected, which is good, right? And like CNBC reported, retail sales went up way higher than expected. So these things together is making the U.S. market go up today, yes. But unfortunately, it also made this percentage, the 25 basis point cut percentage, go up even more. So it's now 72.5%. And the 50 basis point one is now down to 27.5%. So as of right now, there's 0% chance that there's not going to be a cut. There's 0% chance to be a 75% or 75 basis point cut. But it's looking more and more like 25 basis point, which I guess is fine. But I think a lot of people are still worried about recession and worried about how Powell hasn't done enough to try to stop, inflation and all that stuff, right? But I guess we'll see as more numbers come out between now and next month. How will, I guess it'll paint a bigger picture, right? Because week over week stuff, week over week economic data changes all the time. Next week could turn really negative again. But overall, as long as we're on pace for a cut next month and more after that, I guess we'll be in good shape. Better shape than we are in now, right? Okay, as for Bitcoin, why is Bitcoin struggling right now? I mean, the biggest, I guess, entity that's causing this is the U.S. government. Okay. So for whatever reason, after some presidential candidates talked about making what we have in the U.S., the Bitcoin that was confiscated, making it into a strategic reserve, well, somehow the Department of Justice just started selling them. Okay, it started happening earlier this year. There was a 2,000 Bitcoin transfer to Coinbase. And then shortly afterwards, like last month or 2 months ago, or maybe it was last month, we had another 4,000 Bitcoin being transferred to Coinbase Prime. And just yesterday, we had a staggering 10,000 Bitcoin sent to Coinbase Prime. So in cumulative, that's close to $1 billion, right, of Bitcoin being sold. That's probably a big reason why we've came down and we haven't gone back up. That's a lot of Bitcoin being sold right now by the U.S. government. And unfortunately, the U.S. government still holds $12.4 billion. But like, why? Why are they selling now, right? It almost seems like it's politically driven. Like it almost makes no point. What's $1 billion to the U.S. government when we have $35 trillion worth of debt. That's not even a percent. That's not even close. That $1 billion does nothing for the US government, right? So, and we don't have any kind of weird rule like with Germany where, price fluctuates more than 5%, you got to dump it all. I mean, so it's just kind of strange. It's really strange. Why now? Why not wait until we have a new president first, right? Because if we are going to just put this into a strategic reserve, then why would you sell any now? It makes no sense whatsoever. So I think this is the biggest reason. And again, I can't explain it. I don't think anyone can explain it. And they still have a lot, right? Not only Bitcoin, but the U.S. government also holds $133 million worth of ETH and $121 million worth of USDT. I mean, if they need a quick cash somehow, if some politician or someone needs some quick cash, they got $121 million worth of USDT. That's plenty. Why do they need to sell off $1 billion of the Bitcoin? Again, it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But whatever. Whoever is in charge just does not understand, right? Despite all the negativity and despite the fear level right now, still in the index showing we're still in fear level, right? There are those that understand, okay? That's why Bitcoin is still going to recover, going to form a new high, and that's not going to change. It's also the reason why so many are still loading up on Bitcoin and also other crypto as well, right? Let me show you. First of all, ETF Flow, right? The one entity, the one person that I said that truly understands Bitcoin and will never sell now. I don't know about never, but hasn't sold, even though market is telling him to sell, is BlackRock. Even though yesterday we had a pretty bad outflow day. 18 million, 6 million, 7 million, 57 million from Grayscale. Again, Grayscale, I don't know why Grayscale and Grayscale investors continue to keep on dumping. It just seems like they never stop. Right? That's just crazy amount from Grayscale. Why? Again, they're like the opposite of BlackRock. It makes no sense for them to have massive outflows every single day, even on good positive days. No idea what's going on at Grayscale. But despite yesterday overall being pretty bad, minus 81 million, BlackRock still took it. It wasn't zero, but they still took in about $3 million, right? Larry Fink, he is doing what he can to load up as much as he can. And even with the ETF, it doesn't even make a lot of sense when everyone's panic selling. He should be having outflows, but no. Larry Fink knows he wants to control Bitcoin. He wants to accumulate as much as he can. He's already the third largest holder in the world, and he's going to become number one eventually. That's his goal, right? It's not like a goal that we really want him to have, but in the interim, it does show his conviction in Bitcoin right now, okay? In case you're wondering about Ethereum, BlackRock is also accumulating close to $1 billion, okay? BlackRock and Ethereum. And again, look at Grayscale, just continues to dump and dump and dump and dump some more. They dumped a whole lot already. Grayscale at this point is like a Trojan horse. They haven't been good ever since they got their Bitcoin ETF, now Ethereum ETF. I think we were all fooled into thinking, well, yeah, it's great. It's great for Grayscale. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's like a Trojan horse. Their parent company effed up and went bankrupt. Their sister company went bankrupt. Grayscale is the only one that didn't go bankrupt because they had so much. They had so much Bitcoin and Ethereum and others, right? But they are absolutely, troublesome. They're definitely the problem child because look at the ETH chart. Almost no one sold anything. And then they happen to dump $4 billion. I mean, come on. I don't know what's going on. No one should be happy or cheerful about Grayscale ever again, to be honest. And same thing. Look at the Bitcoin chart. Look at how much they sold. $20 billion worth. It's ridiculous, ridiculous. Anyways, let's not talk about Grayscale. It gets me mad. But what about others like Larry Fink that do understand, that are loading up? There are so many. Obviously, MicroStrategy, right? Michael Saylor understands. I'm waiting for him to complete his $2 billion raise. But MicroStrategy stock has been absolutely on fire because basically MicroStrategy is a Bitcoin play. You could argue maybe even a better Bitcoin play because their rise upwards, their percentage gain from 2020 till now is even greater than Bitcoin. It's actually way more than Bitcoin. It's actually crazy, which is why they're actually coming out with a leverage long ETF of just MicroStrategy that moves at 1.75x, 175%. That's kind of crazy if you think about it. A ETF just to long MicroStrategy. That's nuts. That's nuts. But that might be something I consider. But the reason why they have that is because there's demand. Demand for not only MicroStrategy, but also for Bitcoin, right? I mean, just look at this. You got central banks that hold enormous amount of MicroStrategy shares. Norwegian, Swiss, and even Barclays. They're not a central bank, but they're still the UK's largest bank. They hold a lot of MicroStrategy stock. Is it because they love Michael Saylor? No. Because they want to implement a Bitcoin strategy, and probably they're not allowed to hold Bitcoin, right? Because it will look kind of bad upon them, central banks holding Bitcoin. So they're probably like, dodging that image by saying, okay, we'll buy MicroStrategy shares instead. But just think about that. Just think about it. Even central banks around the world are looking to implement a Bitcoin strategy now through MicroStrategy, right? That's crazy if you think about it. And incredibly bullish if you think about it. Incredibly bullish. And of course, they're not the only ones. Even Saylor is saying Bitcoin's the best strategic treasury reserve asset. Yes, that's why we even have presidential candidates that's considering it for the entire country. But others are following the same footsteps like Mara, who just raised $300 million. Again, that's not chump change. That's a third of $1 billion. They raised that like it was nothing and purchased a whole bunch of Bitcoin with it, right? If you're a company, if you're a publicly traded company, first of all, like right now, I don't know why you would not implement a Bitcoin strategy. Whether you believe in Bitcoin or not, you should just implement it because it's going to help your stock. And then second of all, you should just raise money to buy more Bitcoin because it seems to be working. All these raises are oversubscribed, every single company that's doing it. So why would you not do that at this point? I don't know. I don't know. But Mara, obviously, one of the biggest Bitcoin miners out there, they understand the value of holding and acquiring Bitcoin, right? So a lot of big entities, okay, they understand and they're loading up. Even central banks are, countries and central banks and companies. And even banks themselves. I've covered this already, but Goldman Sachs recently reported they have over $400 million worth of Bitcoin ETFs. Morgan Stanley has about 200 million, a little bit under, and there's more and more and more and more coming. Wealthy clients of these banks, they want Bitcoin exposure, so they go get it through either Bitcoin ETFs or Bitcoin itself, right? So bottom line is, even though there are some, that do not get Bitcoin and may be looking to sell or is selling, like the US government right now. But although I think that's more politically driven than anything, that $1 billion does nothing for them. There are so many others that do understand, and they are doing the opposite. They are buying and holding. That's really it. And look at this headline. 2/3 of institutional Bitcoin ETF holders held or bought more in Q2. Again, people that understand will continue to load up and load up and load up some more because that's a smart thing to do. All right, lastly, I'll just show you this chart here, which just shows you short term, right? We go through a lot of these resistances. Right now, it's definitely one of them. I think a lot of it is due to some of the panic selling, right? Panic selling, fund levels high, Department of Justice selling, Mt. Gox selling, Germany selling. You know, we're going through a pretty fuddish period. But once we get through it, we'll make a new high and we'll get to the next level. It's really that simple. It never changes. It never deviates. That's how Bitcoin rolls, right? So you just have to have patience. That's really it. All right, outside of Bitcoin, a few other little news. I saw this graphic that's kind of interesting. A lot of you guys are still into meme coins. Here are the top meme coins by percentage of holders currently in profit. It's shocking that 72.75% of Dogecoin holders are in profit. And then you got Floki, Mog, Pepe, and Shiba. I never even really heard of Mog coin before. But it's kind of staggering that Dogecoin is still leading in terms of holders in profit. Interesting. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how they calculate that, but I don't know if that's true because Doge topped out at 70 cents in 2021. Anyways, just wanted to show you guys that, and that's pretty much it. All right, let's do Q&A. Overall today, look at the U.S. market right now is hot. Dow's up 400, NASDAQ 2 something. You got Microstrategy up 249 today, or 2.49%. Coinbase up about 1.41% today. Tesla is having a huge day, up 5%. Today is a pretty good day for the U.S. market. Bitcoin climbing up a little bit. All right, Q&A. JJJS. What if top is in and different now? What if the world ends tomorrow? Right? What if World War III breaks out next week? It's one of those hypotheticals that's pointless to talk about. Let's see. Coin development. Good afternoon. I don't know where you are. Grayscale, according to Jack, Grayscale was a mole the entire time. It seems like it. It does seem like it. Why aren't I in Vegas? Why would I be in Vegas right now? What's going on in Vegas? What's your typical day after streaming? I don't know. I got a lot of work afterwards, answering emails, answering DMs, Then after that, I'm pretty clear. Sometimes I have a few meetings. In the afternoon, I'm pretty clear to do what I want. Maybe I go to the gym or hang out with the kids. They're still home on summer break. And then it repeats. Joe asked, will you sell any Bitcoin at 100K? I mean, 100K is a big psychological level for Bitcoin. I think I would, I don't know. I mean, at 70K, I didn't sell any. I don't anticipate I'm going to sell any at 80 or 90K. 100K, would I sell any? No, I think FOMO is going to be like on full blast. So probably not. Probably not. Did you see a spike in BTC mining by Chinese AMP pool? They connected basically 500,000 miners this week alone. Yeah, it seems like China realized they made a mistake kicking out all the miners, and then now they're letting them all back in, right? Because that happened what, a couple years ago. It actually helped Bitcoin become a lot more decentralized. And then they realized, oh shoot, we don't want all the miners to go to the US and be in Texas. So now they secretly open it up, and you could see a lot of Bitcoin mining activity in China again. Billy asked, with Grayscale sinking the ETH ETF price, do we know if they hold Sol to sink Sol's eventual ETF? I do think they hold Sol, but not nearly as much as ETH and Bitcoin. But they do hold Sol for sure. There's a Sol trust. I don't know. This whole model with Grayscale back in the day with the trust, it was great because money goes in and the crypto never flows outwards. But now it just seems like Grayscale, now that they're, those trusts have been converted to ETFs, they just continue to dump and dump and dump, and it's going to be dumped to zero basically. And the other ETFs are more enticing with lower fees. Paris Gandhi says BTC down from 73K to 58K. That doesn't call sideways, it's down 20%. Then what about going from 20 to 58K then? Why are you only looking at for one side? Right? It's like you have the mindset of a retail investor. You only look at buying when things are up. I bet if we were at 75K, you'd be excited to buy. But somehow when we're down from our high, you're not excited to buy. And then you're bearish and you're probably looking to sell. Right? You got to flip your mentality. We were at 20,000, sub 20,000 a year ago. So why are you not looking at that? How Bitcoin is up 200% from its bottom. Picasso, good morning. Thoughts on the highly talked about XRP? It's not. No one's talking about XRP. At least not in the sense of buying XRP. People are cheering. I cheered for Ripple for winning the SEC case. But is anyone out here saying buy XRP? Not one. After watching Deadpool, the new Deadpool movie, and watching him, dance to NSYNC, makes me want to learn that dance. I do not have rhythm and I cannot dance, so I'll never be able to do it. But whoever played Deadpool did it perfectly. Tim says, that's BS. Outside your echo chamber, many people are talking about XRP. I'm going to say outside your echo chamber, no one is talking about XRP. How about that? Don't make me do it, but I guess I will. If you're an XRP fan, just explain this to me. Explain how you're bullish on XRP. This is a descending trend line that has existed since 2018. It's been 6 years. 6 years. Nowhere close to breaking the 2018 high. Nowhere close to breaking the 2021 high. XRP, despite all the wins, is still below this trend line. You tell me. XRP Army, I really like to know. How do you explain this away? There's no other crypto. Bitcoin's not like this. ETH is not like this. Sol's not like this. Even Cardano's not like this. Even Cardano doesn't have a descending trend line since 2018. So, explain this away, XRP Army. Axel Para says, George, you can't retire in 2025. What am I going to do without your streams? I may continue. Even if I retire, I may continue to do my Sunday walk videos and my new video idea, Saturday drive videos. I think Saturday drive videos may be even more popular than my Sunday walk videos, because I'll be driving a new car every single week. I don't know why I didn't think about that earlier. The more I think about it, the more I think it's a good idea and I'm excited to do. But I just don't know how to set up the cameras. And it's going to take a little more editing, I guess. Not really. I can just upload it. I just do a single shot like my Sunday walk videos and just upload it. I think it's going to be a good idea. It's just harder to concentrate because I have to make sure I don't crash. Did I have micro machines as a kid? No, I remember the commercials, but I don't think I had any. The first Saturday driving video would be this Saturday. You know what? I haven't driven a Lucid yet. I just see Lucid's gonna go bankrupt soon. So there's almost no point. It's gonna be like Fisker. It looks decent, but they're all big sedans that are not popular, and Lucids are stupidly expensive. So I just don't see them doing well. Will my OF still be available? That's probably when I'll have time to work on that. Sauce Boss, what do you think about Aerodrome Finance? Not a big fan. Not a fan at all, in fact. The reason being, I used to think it's like the biggest DEX on base. And I used to think, well, if base is doing so well, Aerodrome Finance has to do well, right? Because it's the biggest DEX. But, then I learned you don't need Aerodrome Finance. Everything is on Uniswap. So all the base memes, everything's on Uniswap. There's no need to use Aerodrome. So that made me very, very not bullish about Aerodrome. Even though it did had a pretty good, run earlier this year, but still not something that I really care for. Josh has like a fetish over this VW microbus. I don't, I don't know why you keep bringing it up. We saw it at the auto show. It did not look that impressive to me. No, I wasn't laughing at you, Chief Indo. I don't know what you wrote. When I retire, my hobby's gonna be car. Yeah, I'll have more time to do to build Legos, and I'll probably work on my cars. I was in Bass Pro Shop yesterday again. Man, I love to do some more outdoor stuff. I don't live on a farm or in some like vast grassland or forest or something, but like, man, I like to get some ATVs, get some crossbows, do some outdoory stuff. I don't know about boats. I'm not a big boat guy, but you know, if I had a pond, go do some fishing. I think the kids really want to do some fishing. Um, yeah, I'd probably like do more of that. Probably just go buy a piece of land somewhere with a lake, with a cabin, and just like hang out there. Become like Charles Hoskinson. I still have my Pogs, comic books, older toys still in the box. Most of the good stuff I've hung up on my kids' walls. That's pretty good. I had a whole big collection of Ninja Turtles, but my kids have no interest in them, so I think I donated them. But I think they're worth some money. They're like the first edition ones. I was addicted to those things. 8 points says, love my 20 acres and my house in the middle of it. Real question, how do you mow the lawn? Or is it all just like forest, so you don't care? Like, how do you mow 20 acres? That seems like a whole lot of land. But that would be awesome. Like, if you're into the middle of nowhere, you can just do whatever the hell you want. I wouldn't want to be there all the time, though. I would just want to go there to visit, you know, stay there for a couple weeks whenever I would just want to chill, but I wouldn't want to live there. I don't want to live somewhere secluded like that. I still like living in areas with people. Okay, that makes more sense. Someone else says I have 20 acres, but most of it's forest and beaver pond, and there's like an acre of grass. See, like acre of grass, I would say it's, you know, that's not too bad if you have a riding lawnmower. But if you have 20 acres to mow, that's ridiculous. George, I know you never driven or drove a 911 Turbo, but you need to. It's the best car you could ever drive because of the power and handling, and it sits on the ground like glue. I mean, that's what I've heard. Right? It's supposed to be the most balanced car on the planet. Um, I'll have to drive one someday. You know, like I can't really fit any more cars in my garage. So like at this point in time, I really want to get rid of my Tesla, my Model X, but it's kind of like a decent daily driver. So, but I really want to get rid of it. But I don't want to get another garage queen like just sits there and does nothing. My Ferrari already does that. So, but I do want to drive it and see how it is. I think I want to get a Bronco next. I've been eyeing Broncos for a long time, and Bronco Raptors have come down in price quite tremendously. So, I might get a Bronco Raptor as my next car. I'll just park it outside. I don't care if it gets dirty. Less garage queens and more pavement princess. That's a good one. Let's see. I haven't fished in such a long time. In a couple weeks, I'll be on a fishing boat in Miami um, for a bachelor's party. So that'll be like the first time in like 20 years or something. Um, I mean, I did a little light fishing a few years ago, but it doesn't really count. Um, I don't know. I would like to do that, I guess. George, would you ever consider taking average Joes to compete in karate combat or need to be in black belt experienced? I mean, there's a lot of. We're not just go. No offense, but we're not just not going to take anyone in. That'd be ridiculous. There's way too many people that are taking karate or taekwondo that wants to participate. Um, so the preference is always influencers first. Influencers with large influence. And if we happen to need to fill a fight, then in those situations, we might take someone that's just like, that has no influence, right? Just to set up um, the card with someone that does. Listen TMV says, George, should I sell ETH and Doge and buy Bitcoin? Currently down on Doge about 50%. Just wondering your thoughts. Worth keeping. You know, this funny thing. It's like, you know, that's why I have a hard time believing this stat. 72% of Doge holders are in profit. I would say most Doge holders are in loss right now. Um, but to your point, I don't know, man. If you've been holding for this long and the bull market's coming soon, you know Doge, all these memes are gonna go back to their previous high. But which one will move faster at this point? These or Bitcoin? It sounds like you may not have enough Bitcoin, or maybe even if you do, should you switch? Sometimes you just gotta do it. Sometimes you gotta just say, I had enough. I need to get into the best and just sell off and change, right? But sometimes when you do it, you regret it later. So I don't know what to tell you. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of Doge anymore. They're only up here because of Elon, and Elon seems to have given up on them. Think about it, George, with a big pole barn, your car collection would be huge. Yeah, I get jealous of those people that have like a huge like barn or whatever in the middle of nowhere and they could have like, 50 cars in it because that barn costs nothing to build and the land costs nothing. Like out here where I am, that would be like $10 million. Like I'm not gonna spend $10 million to house my like cars in there. Um, but people in the countryside with a lot of land, you could build whatever you want and it's like dirt cheap. Yeah, so I'm just ranting. George, you could just buy your land and store your car in the countryside. No, I would never do that. First of all, I wouldn't trust it. Like, what if someone breaks in and steals it, or steals the cars, or like catches on fire, or whatever? Then there's nowhere to really drive it. If it's in the middle of nowhere, it takes like hours just to get there. Um, So yeah, no. All right, guys. Feels like Friday, but it's not. It's only Thursday. Well, I mean, today's Bitcoin not doing bad. It's coming up. The entire market is doing well. Look at Microstrategy up 4.4% today. Right, today's doing good. So recession fears are dissipating. The U.S. government, unfortunately, is still dumping Bitcoin. The biggest dumpers right now. Don't know why. But those that understand are certainly not. They're buying up. They're buying up the supply. So do the same. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Take care. Bye-bye.